Good morning. Welcome to First Parish in Framingham. My name is Elizabeth Murphy. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as your ministerial intern. First Parish is a welcoming congregation. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We celebrate and welcome people of all ages, races, gender identities, sexual orientations, abilities, socioeconomic statuses, or beliefs. We welcome you here in the meeting house or on Zoom or wherever and whenever you may be watching this service in the future. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religion that honors wisdom from many sources. We keep our minds open to the religious questions people have pondered across vast times and spaces. Please be sure to read the announcements on the green insert in your order of service. Immediately following worship today, you're invited to join us for coffee hour in Scott Hall, just across the courtyard. Please take a moment now to turn off your phones or other devices or put them on their quietest settings. While beeps and buzzes can be distracting, we welcome your human noises. Cooing, babbling, laughter, baby sounds, all of it. We especially love to hear your singing, so please do join in. Since 1701, people have gathered as this community to rest or recharge, to be challenged or affirmed. Those people are like you. You belong here, maybe only for the next hour, but we hope for longer. We're happy to have you with us today. And now I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. Continue to take a few more long breaths and to begin to release whatever it is you may need to let go of to be more fully present to yourself, to those around you, and to the sacred in this time and place. A flame within a chalice is the primary symbol of Unitarian Universalist faith tradition, to symbolize the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. It is our tradition to begin worship by kindling the flame of our chalice. This morning we light it with these words from Reverend Eric Walker Wickstrom. Here today in this place and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and this world. May this chalice we light our way.
As is our tradition, when a member of our congregation has died, we light a memorial candle. As most of you know, Alma Gould died last Monday. I had the deep honor of officiating at her graveside service at Wildwood Cemetery in Ashland on Friday morning. And then we held a memorial service for both her and Bob in this space that mattered so much to both of them. Let her memory continue to be a blessing to us all. Let us sit in the quiet of this space in her memory and honor for just a moment. Now, both Alma and Bob were square dancers, so perhaps it is appropriate that our opening hymn is Let It Be a Dance, number 311. Please rise and body or spirit, both of those work just fine. please remain standing as we join our voices in both our sung and spoken affirmations. The words and lyrics can be found in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve all life with compassion, till the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. You may be seated.
I don't need this. I do need these. Good morning. My name is Lauren Strauss. I'm the Director of Religious Exploration here at First Parish. And I say with you with my hands full, good morning and welcome to church. I'm gonna need a little bit of help this morning. So if you would like to read a line in our silly little play, I'd love you to put your hand up and I will come and hand you a part. You and Dad wanna do one together? That's awesome. Who else? Yay. Thank you. Who else? Okey-doke. Okey-doke. Thank you. Excellent. One more. Who's it gonna be? There we go. Thank you. Okay. It would help if I had the words up here in front of me. This story is called The Rabbit Listened by Corey Dorfield. One day, Taylor decided to build something new, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, whoosh, a whole flock of crows comes through, and things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice. Where's my chicken?
What a shame. I'm so sorry. Let's talk about it.
Talk. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear. Where's my bear? Oh. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do.
I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were.
But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant left. One by one they came. The hyena. The ostrich.
No, let's hide. Pretend nothing happened.
The the kangaroo. And the snake. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually they all left until Taylor was alone. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice a rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together they sat in silence until
Taylor
Taylor
said,
could feel, until Taylor said, thank you.
"Please stay with me."
The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. And the rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build something new.
I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
And now it is time to sing the children and teachers in me to religious exploration.
I am the Reverend Aaron Stockel-Wiseman. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my honor to be your senior minister. In our community, there is great joy. There's also great sorrow. We set aside this time to share our personal joys and sorrows because we know that joy shared is joy expanded, and a sorrow shared can feel as though someone is lifting a burden. Please remember that you can always share your joys or sorrows in this book, which is at the back of the sanctuary, or you can submit them online each week. Interspersed with our sharing, we sing hymn 1002, Comfort Me. We sing together to lift up our joys and our sorrows, but also so that you might have a song ready whenever you need comfort. We begin with our concerns. Ben L. shares, "I was involved in a car accident, only very minor to no injuries, I think, but my car was totaled." Let us now sing Comfort Me together. We now lift up the joys of our congregation. Ben L. also writes, "My sister is graduating from college. I am watching it in person today. Chris R. shares, 10 days ago, after getting a scary-looking MRI, I had emergency cervical spine surgery to relieve pressure on my spinal cord. The goal was on protecting my spinal cord from damage that might occur from a fall with no guarantee, but some hope that the numbness in my arms and hands might be alleviated, that my painful, wobbly walking gait might get back to normal. I'm thrilled to report that the surgery went well. I'm walking in a straight line again, and the numbness has receded so much in my arms and fingers that I'm able to perform fine motor tasks like holding a pen and buttoning a shirt. Yesterday, I completed a 2-mile walk around the neighborhood with no pain or instability. It has been absolutely amazing to me that our hopes going into surgery have come about. I'll be forever grateful to the skill of my neurosurgeon and the post-op care I received at UMass Memorial Hospital. Chris R. especially wants to thank everyone from First Parish who sent Eileen and I messages and cards of good wishes and support. It meant a lot to us knowing that we are not alone while going through this sudden and rather scary medical procedure. We are so thankful to be a part of First Parish. And I share the personal joy that our ministerial intern, Elizabeth Murphy, graduates today with her Master of Divinity from Meadville Lombard in Chicago. She's graduating virtually. I should say you're participating in the ceremony virtually. You have very really completed your degree. We will now sing the second verse. Sing with me. And as always, we light one final candle for all the joys and sorrows which remain unspoken, though held deeply in our hearts. We sing it now, Speak for Me. Let us now turn our attention once again to our breath in and our breath out, noticing whatever is supporting us, a chair, a bed, a floor, or the people sitting to our left and our right. A spirit of life and love, named and unnamed, but who calls each one of us by our true first name, which is beloved. We give thanks for the joys of this congregation, for people completing their studies and receiving certificates saying that they know this and that. But we know that the change goes deeper than what is said on a piece of paper. We know that it takes many people to help someone get through school, and we give thanks for those people. We also lift up those in our congregation who are healing, those who are mourning, especially to the Gould family after the death of Alma, to our First Parish community as well. May we lend a listening ear and a helping hand to all those who are healing. They say that the arc of the universe is long and it bends towards justice, but it takes our work, our hands, our feet, our wheels, our voices to move that arc towards justice. This morning, if we say that transgender people are our siblings, then let us rise up like older and younger siblings to protect them in states where their very personhood and humanity is being eroded. May those who are impacted and their families know love, and may their own communities of care strengthen, fortify, and protect them this day and always. From time to time, we slip up, we trip up with our words, we say things that we didn't mean to say. We don't act when we should have stood up, when we should have sided with love. What we did in the past does not matter. What we do in the future matters more. Because we are still breathing, we have an opportunity to restore right relationship and to say, I am sorry. I say these words and do all things for love's sake. Now let us sit in the silence of this space so that we might rest or recharge, listen, or simply do absolutely nothing for 1 minute. I'll keep track of the time. May the center and the silence and the grounding and the peace that we may have found carry us through the rest of this week. May it be so.
This morning's offering words were written by Unitarian Universalist Jessica Lynn, and they are among my favorites. She writes, I come on Sunday feeling weary, having worn out the snooze button on my alarm clock. I come on Sunday feeling frightened, having seared my eyes reading the latest news. I come on Sunday feeling burdened, having fretted about my workday worries. But I leave Sunday service feeling refreshed, having been renewed by the spirit of love in the community that exists here. I leave Sunday service feeling whole, feeling lifted up by the words of righteous challenge. I leave Sunday feeling energized, ready to continue our fight for peace and for justice. This haven, this refuge, this place of worship and wonder exists because we make it so with our contributions, the gifts of our time, our skills, our food, our love, our laughter, and our money. Please join in giving so that we may continue to have a place that fortifies and challenges us in these trying and troubled times. The offering will now gratefully be received. Let it be a dance we do. may I have this dance with you? For the good times and the bad times too, let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words. Fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your bodies learn to bend like a willow in the wind, and let it be a dance. A child is born. We all must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. So take it as it passes by, and let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you? For the good times and the bad times too, let it be a dance. The morning star comes out at night. Without the dark, there'd be no light. Yet, if nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. So, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let the sun shine. Let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. Round and round we go again, and let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you. For the good times and the bad times too, let it be a dance.
This morning, our sermon text is brought to us by Walt Barker. Thank you, Walt. Walt has been a member of First Parish since 1972, and he won the Your Reading My Sermon auction item last year. Over the last few weeks, we've connected about a sermon around the classic Rick Maston song, Let It Be a Dance, which started out as a poem. Walt talked to me about this author, style of poetry, and what this song meant to him. To Walt, dancing has always been an important part of his life. He took dance lessons in a high school. Then Walt enrolled in pre-med for his undergraduate studies, and as Walt told me, things didn't go well. So he enlisted in the Army and ended up working with the CIA. He was deployed to Frankfurt, Germany, and there was a mixer with civilian employees of the CIA. Walt noticed a woman standing by the piano and invited her to dance. Let it be a dance. And 5 weeks after that meeting, Walt and Vivian were married. Walt got to meet Rick Maston several times, including visiting him in Big Sur in Rick's Toyota camper called the Homesick Snail. I'm told that Rick Maston has graced this space with his presence. Walt says he was always taken with Rick's style of poetry. It is plain spoken but rich with meaning. Here's an example of it later in his life, a poem titled Like Raccoons, with the subtitle Diagnosed with Advanced Prostate Cancer. Like raccoons trapped suddenly in headlight glare, we freeze petrified. Ultrasound and biopsy results leaving us scared stiff, eyes wide, jaw slack. But think about it, folks. Think about it. We're born, we live, we die. So what's different now? Not a thing except being blessed with a constant reminder to never let another unexplored moment slip by. My condolences to those who fall prey to the fatal surprise, the unexpected cardiac arrest, the sudden traffic casualty forced to depart short of a conclusion, short of the all-important goodbye. Now, Rick Maston's journey towards ministry is a fascinating one, and one that I know was replicated for about 5 years, and then the denomination decided not to do it. So Ministerial Fellowship Committee, if you are listening, and I doubt you are, maybe we could learn something from this process. My colleague, the Reverend Kirk Lodeman Copeland, shares this biography of Rick Maston. Rick worked as a carpenter and a printer. He wrote lyrics for musicals at Carmel's Forest Theater, which is where he met Billy Barbara, his wife of 56 years. He wrote songs for the next 10 years, of which some 78 were recorded, including Turn the Key by pop artist Jerry Wallace and Teenage Preacher by Lord Luther, which cracked the top 100. But this did not satisfy Rick. He began to find his true voice when he heard Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger, and Leonard Cohen. A career as a folk singer beckoned, even though he couldn't remember his own lyrics. You see, he had flunked out of several colleges because of dyslexia and a hearing impairment. Eventually, he left music behind, but the lyrics remained. He found his true calling as a poet. Then he was ordained as a specialized Unitarian Universalist minister in 1972. His was a specialized case, as I said, because he flunked out of several colleges, including seminary. He became a troubadour preacher and had the distinction of performing in more than 500 Unitarian Universalist churches. He also had a lectureship that allowed him to go out and preach and share the good word of our faith in college campuses. As far as the story of the song, this is a song that he wrote for Barbara Brussel, a friend of one of his daughters. Barbara was a high school student who was seriously injured in a car crash involving a drunk driver that killed her teacher and 2 of her classmates. Her knee was so badly damaged that it was doubtful that she would ever walk again, let alone dance. He visited her, Rick did, in the hospital and bet her that within a year she would come up dancing the road in Big Sur to Rick's home to a song that he would write. The song he wrote within a few days was Let It Be a Dance, and because it's a good story and I think it's true, a year later she came dancing, though limping, but dancing up the road as he played his guitar and sang, Let It Be a Dance We Do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. It means that we stick together through the good times and the bad times. We don't give up either, knowing that sometimes the result that we want takes a little while. As the poster in my study here at First Parish reminds me, things take the time they take. Now, it is worth noting that the hymn that we sung at the beginning of our service is not exactly the song or the poem that Rick meant it to be. However, we would never know because the word change is a homophone, 2 words that sound the same but mean different things. Maston's original lyrics are share the laughter, bear the pain, B-A-R-E. Bear the pain. Reveal the pain. We sing share the laughter, bear the pain, B-E-A-R, the pain, carry the pain. I don't know where this change happened, who allowed it to enter into our hymnal, or if it was a mistake or a theological editorializing on the part of the hymnal commission. But how does this change our understanding of the song? I can only speak for myself. Oftentimes, I find that revealing the pain is the most vulnerable thing. The thing that it feels like a lifetime of being raised here in New England, being raised as a white, straight male, and it feels internalizing. Keep the pain within, just grin and bear it, and soon you'll be through it. Almost like bearing the pain, revealing it is more painful than the actual pain itself. As I said before, it's unclear if this was an error or a theological remark. And I searched because I knew that someone would ask, perhaps, and I searched, and I couldn't find whether it was an error or editorializing. If it is a theological editorial choice, it says a lot about what we believe about the rugged individual and how that is the preferred way of being. We know that hymns are written to be sung for the 100th time, not just the first time. Hymns are sung theology, and it matters what we sing. Now, I will own that I am not a dancer, so the prospect of saying, "Let life be a dance we do," kind of terrifies me. Yeah, we did take dance lessons for our wedding, and there were a few times that I was vaguely competent in various parts of swing dancing. And I'm of the age that they were still teaching us how to do square dancing in 4th grade, but I am not a dancer. Reinforced when my dad would always say, "Stockwells don't dance." And I have yet to receive the Wiseman wisdom on dancing. Just feel too awkward on the dance floor, too self-conscious. Even if I'm having fun, some voice tells me, "Too much, too weird, don't do it." Since I'm not a good dancer, and I know that many of you are or enjoyed dancing in your previous lives, we're going to pass the microphone for just a second. I want to know, what makes a good dancer? Does anybody know? I don't have the answers, so please, somebody tell me.
Just this overwhelming desire to move to the music.
I second Diane. You love to move.
A sense of rhythm.
Freedom from inhibition.
The bottom line about dancing is that it renders you free. So free that you can't believe it.
And I think we had Margaret and then Marianne, and then we will.
When you step on each other's toes, you say, "Excuse me," and you keep on dancing.
The courage not to be afraid to look silly.
And we'll take one more from Walt, since it is his sermon, with the microphone.
It takes a good partner. And I was dancing with Vivian one time, and I wanted to do a dip. And at the end of the dip, I lost my balance, but I did not drop her. And I shifted some muscles, and up I came again.
Wow. So with the wisdom of our congregation and that confession off of my chest, and maybe I'll take some of your wisdom to mind. At its core, this song is about creative interchange and deep listening. It is about the ebb and the flow of life. Think of the last time you were on a beach with the ocean in front of you. Imagine standing where the waves break. If you stay still, eventually your feet or your chair will get covered with sand. You become stuck, sometimes even undercut by the waves. But if you are nimble and you're able to move with the ebb and the flow, you will move with the waves. On the dance, Anne Morrow Lindbergh writes, "Good relationship has a pattern like a dance and is built on some of the same rules. The partners do not need to hold on tightly because they move confidently in the same pattern, intricate, joyful, swift and free like a country dance of Mozart's. To touch heavily would be to arrest the pattern and freeze the movement, to check the endlessly changing beauty of its unfolding. There is no place here for the possessive clutch, the clinging arm or the heavy hand, only the barest touch in passing. Now arm in arm, now face to face, now back to back, it does not matter which, because they know that they are partners moving to the same rhythm, creating a pattern together and being invisibly nourished by it. We move together to the same rhythm, creating patterns and being nourished by it. We have to turn towards one another in deep listening. We all make various bids for attention. While the research of John and Julie Gottman applies to romantic partnering, I think it also applies to really any sort of relationship with two or more people. After all, so many of our interactions are really just one-on-one, just rapid-fire changes. The Gottmans, who are extremely prolific researchers in the field of marriages, have been studying relationships for decades. They can predict whether or not marriages will last or end within 6 years. They discovered that couples that stay together after 6 years turned towards each other another 86% of the time. Couples that divorced averaged only 33% of the time did they turn towards one another. They responded to a bid for attention positively. Bids for attention look like paying attention to what the other says, responding to simple requests, helping with or working with the other person, showing interest or excitement in the other's accomplishments, answering questions or requests for information, chatting with the other person, sharing the events of their day, laughing at jokes, helping the other person de-stress or problem solve, being affectionate, playing with the other, joining in adventures, or joining them in learning something. And as I said, so much of their own research, the Gottmans, is on romantic partnerships, but I think it can all apply to other partnerships, other friendships as well. The money just isn't there for friendship research, unfortunately. The ebb and flow, responding to the flow of life, let it be a dance. Finally, as I think about Rick Maston's classic hymn, think about the concept of creative interchange, because we got to get a little theological to wrap things up, because this is the place for that. Creative interchange is a notion that Henry Nelson Wyman, who was a process theologian, came up with. Process theology being a theology that very briefly uses understandings from quantum physics to applying that to theology. It says that what we observe, we change and changes us. So when we observe God or the divine, or however you label that mystery beyond all understanding, that mystery changes too. As my colleague Matthew Johnson explains, creative interchange is a way of being together that points towards creativity as a holy and ongoing force. He puts a finer point on it by saying this. This means that the interchange between two people is free and full and authentic, and thus creates a new understanding and reality between them. It is a way of getting at that sense that when we really approach someone with open hearts and we are approached in the same way, we make something possible that wasn't before. It is hopeful about the possibility of community. As Wyman wrote, creativity is eternal, not in the sense of being out of time or beyond time, but in the sense of being continuously creative of the emerging present. We need this creative interchange for the reason that another colleague of mine, Jake Morrill, explains. A healthy pond has an inflow of fresh water. It has circulation. A stagnant pond whose inflow is blocked off doesn't get enough oxygen. Not only is stagnation unhealthy or deadly for the pond's fish population, it promotes the growth of unwanted algae, and because water isn't circulating, insects and mosquito larvae can incubate, hatch, and proliferate, increasing the likelihood of disease. We need this creative interchange in our lives. So, my friends gathered here, let it be a dance. The ebb and flow of life and love, let it be a creative interchange that sustains us and changes us. May it be so, and amen. So now let us rise in body or spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 112, Do You Hear? With deep gratitude for all who made this service possible, and deep gratitude too for this constellation of people that will exist for only a few moments more, I send you forth with the light of love. May you use it to brighten your pathways, and when you need to rest or recharge, be challenged or affirmed, may you be guided safely back. May you hold the light always, and the light hold us always. Amen. Go in peace.